Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is now time for the best real estate podcast online. It is time for Lakeway Area Real Estate Talk Live with Mike and Dave Elkins, presented by Elite Realty Group.
So let's talk some real estate information, all right? Here we go. We always try to, as we do this show, give you some real estate information. And today we're going to do that exact same thing. We're going to give you some things you need to look for today that are signs, right? And it's not like signs from the moon, like you said earlier. But it's some things you can look for happening in your house, your neighborhood, so on and so forth. That it might be time for you to move.
It might be that sign. Okay, let's do something.
It might be time for that to get down and be able to move right here today. So we're going to give you those signs. A lot of times people start off with what is commonly referred to as a starter home.
Right. A lot of times.
You got to start somewhere. You don't buy the big mansion down the street or whatever, this big old house.
Usually not your first home.
No, it's usually not this big mega house or whatever that a lot of people try to move into. Not that you have to have a mega house. But again, I'm saying a large house. Most of the time you start with a starter house, what we refer to as that. But as your family grows, as things change, as markets change, as financial situations change, there are some times you got to move up, right? From the starter to the next house. Here are some signs that it may be time for you and your family to go from point A to point B. Now, here's what I'm going to say. We don't say this a lot, but we're going to today. If you're looking to go from point A to point B, starter home, we'd love to help you, right?
And it's 423.
Yeah, there you go. Give me the phone number. It's right here, right?
Yes, right here.
There it is.
So now I'm glad to have something to point at.
You got to give
so
it
we got
illustration,
423-307-8566. I'd like to have one of them boards like Grant Cardone.
Yeah,
we can touch and write stuff up here.
We're going to go for that.
Okay,
yeah, we're going to go.
We'll draw pictures because we really don't.
We draw a house on here. You know,
we'll be playing. What was that?
Yeah, tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
But we would love to help you do that, right? So if some of these speak to you today, give us a call. Give one of our agents a call at the office. We would be honored at Elite Realty.
Because there's one of them I think is a really good one. I don't
They're
remember
all
which
good,
one.
man.
Well, I know, but there's one of them I thought was really
So here we
good.
go. Let's get with it then. Here's number one, okay?
Here we go.
Here's number one. Here's a sign that you need to look for selling. A good reason to sell. This has nothing to do with the size of your house. This has nothing to do with your busting at the seams. We'll talk about all that in a minute. But a good sign that it's time for you to make a move is that you will make a profit on the sale of your house.
Who don't like to make money?
Ain't that always a good thing?
Everybody, right? I think, likes to make money.
Ain't that always a good thing? Now, again, if we're just strictly 100% here, I want to give a disclaimer.
Okay.
We're talking just strictly from a financial standpoint.
Right.
If you can make a profit, it may make sense for you to move.
Right.
Now, that's not a know-all, end-all. Would you agree with that? Like, if you could make $1 million, does that mean it's right for you to move?
No.
But that might be a sign that it is. Because, again, we're coming out of a market. We're in a great market right now to where, again, depending on when and how you purchased your house, you potentially could sell right now and make some money. Who knows what the future holds? We're not astrologers.
Right.
We're not looking at those kind of signs, right? The signs in the stars and the moons to tell you what's this market going to do? How much longer is this good, solid financial market that we're in? How much longer is it going to be? We don't know.
Right.
So that's why, again, one of the signs that it could be time for you to move is that you look at it right now and say, could make a little money.
Right.
I could make a little money. I could take that money and do several things with it. I could invest it. I could put it toward my kids' college education. I could buy me a new car. I could go get another house with a down payment.
Right, that's what I was going to say. A lot of times if you're selling that starter house, you're going to have somewhere else to go.
That's right.
So if you can make some good profit on the sale of your house that you live in now, you can move up.
Right.
To that bigger house,
sure,
and because you could essentially have a really large down payment.
That's exactly right. But again, financial situations of people, they change like constantly. Like literally month to month, your financial situation can totally change, and that's with 80% of the people in the United States. It's a month to month thing, so that's okay. But again, what's the future? What's coming in the future? What are some things again that the equity that you have in your house could be a potential good thing for you to have? Again, college education, need a car, need these kind of things, want to invest it. Now's a good time to invest in not only real estate but other parts of the market. That's just one of the things you could look at. And again, it could be a sign, not a know-all, end-all sign, but it could be a sign that it's time to move if you could make money. Now, here's the $1 million question, and we're going to go to 2. How do you know, could I potentially make money?
I know the answer to that.
Give them that.
So the answer is,
Right.
and you've heard us, if you've watched the show in the past, you know what I'm coming with here.
Right. Go with it.
A market analysis.
Yes.
Have a realtor do you a market analysis.
That's right.
It is completely 100%
Here it
free.
is. Here it is.
Yes, I don't know about everywhere
Can't
else.
speak everywhere, but we think it is.
I think
we think it is.
I think it is.
Sure.
It should be.
Should be.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly
Here it is completely free.
Yes.
We're going to do analysis, a market analysis to tell you what we think your home is worth. Is that numbers that we just make up off the top of
no.
our head? No.
No.
We pull
Extensive data goes into that.
Yes. Numbers. I told a lady, I think it was Friday, I said, one thing about it, I'm not really a big numbers person, but one thing about numbers is they do not lie.
Right. That's exactly
So
right.
you take numbers you compare apples to apples.
The
and
market
find out.
that's happening, we can see what's going on. So again, one of the signs it could be time to move, you could potentially make money on your house. That's number 1. Pass it over to you, Lonnie, for number 2.
All right, Earl. All right, so number 2 is pretty simple. When your house just isn't big enough for your family anymore.
Yes, that's a good sign, right?
When you've got people sleeping on air mattresses.
Right.
Okay. Again, maybe that's not a bad thing for you. Maybe it feels better on your back if you sleep on an air mattress. I don't know.
That's right.
But if you got company, you can't have company to
Right.
come spend the night with. You got family. Again, that might not be a bad thing for those of you
Yeah.
who don't want family members
Right.
coming to spend the night. But if you don't have enough room to sit down at the kitchen table and eat a meal together or whatever, you've got, when you bought the house, you had a dog.
Sure.
Now you've
No
got
kids?
No kids. Now you've got 4 kids.
Right.
And the dogs.
Yes.
I mean, or maybe you don't have any kids at all. Maybe now you've got 12 dogs and 4 cats. But when it's just when it's simply not big enough for you anymore,
Right.
it might be time to consider, I'm going to have to move up. Maybe
Yes.
you're a collector. Maybe you do quilts or whatever, and you don't have enough room for all of your stuff.
Right.
You're either going to have to declutter
Sure.
and get rid of some stuff, or you're going to have to say, you know what, let's see if I can go back to number 1, make a little money off this house, and move up.
Right. Absolutely. And again, our lives, man, are constantly changing. Everybody's are, right?
Right.
Like, again, job situations change. You may get a side hustle to, again, you're doing a home-based business. You need room for those quilting things that you're talking about.
Right.
It's not necessarily, again, that you just got, a big family
Right.
and you got to do that, but it could be that. Again, looking at all these things we're going to talk about today, it's not a know-all, end-all of all of them.
Right.
You got to look at your overall situation. If
How
all the
each person's
stars
gonna be
line
different.
up, it could be a good idea for you to get
Right.
that done. Go ahead and make your move. But again, just because this isn't right, again, you may be busting at the seams for multiple reasons, but you may be underwater, so to say, in your house. You
Right.
can't sell it right now.
Right.
It's not a good time to move. That's a sign that it's not,
Right.
that you're able to do those things. But again, many things could change your living arrangements and situations. If you need to move, if you ain't got the space, could be a time to do that, right?
That's right.
What else you got on that one?
That's it.
Anything else?
I'm done, man.
So you're quick to it. Here's
Yeah.
number 3. All right, here's quick. Here's number 3. Adding space for you. Go ahead. You got something there?
Amy said, sounds like that person needs a psych evaluation. 4 kids and 12 dogs. Lord bless them.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And you'd be surprised at the places we go into, right?
Yes,
You'd be
that's right.
surprised at the places that we go into. But here is number 3. Adding space and upgrade. So a lot of people could look at this and say, okay, I'm going to add on to my house. I'm
Right.
going to make me some more space. I'm going to finish the basement. I'm going to turn the garage into whatever I need it to be into. Sometimes financially, that doesn't make sense for you to do, right?
Right.
And it again, a lot of it determines on the neighborhood that you're going to be doing that in. Not has anything to do with the economics of the people, but
Right.
again, the houses that are in there.
Right.
If you're in let's just play a game here, you're in a 2,000 square foot neighborhood, yes, you can finish your whole basement out and turn yours into 4,000 square feet. But that doesn't mean that you just now took your 2,000 square foot price house
Right.
and turned it into a 4,000 square foot priced house, because everything else in the neighborhood is going to.
Unfortunately, we've seen that happen way too many
lot.
times.
A
Way
lot.
too many times.
Yes.
And it is if you could pick your house up and move it to another
Right.
neighborhood or whatever where the houses or the home prices
Right. Right.
are selling higher
Yes.
there, it's a great scenario to be in.
Yeah, and the thing is, you just don't want to over improve for your particular neighborhood.
And every
right?
neighborhood is different.
Yes,
it's another good
that's
reason.
that market analysis.
Another good reason
Yes.
to have your realtor, even before you consider doing any of those upgrades.
Oh, yeah.
Before you consider doing anything, say, look, I'm considering doing this.
Here's what it's going to cost.
Here's what it's going to cost
Yep.
me. Am I going to be able to recoup any of that money? Is it going to help me on the sale of my house?
Right.
If it don't, it might not be worth it.
Yes.
If you're doing it for selling purposes.
And here's what you have to ask. Here's where a lot of people mess up on making upgrades to their house and even adding square footage. Here's the mistake that's made. And you've got to ask yourself this question. I've got a 1,000 square foot house. Let's play that game. And that house is worth $100,000, okay? I can upgrade to a 1,500 square foot house because I add space.
Right.
And it takes me to 150. All right? My money per square foot is still the same had I never did that upgrade.
Exactly.
So you spent your time, money, effort, and energy to, again, add 500 extra square feet. But essentially, at the end of the day, all you do is get your money back. You don't make no money.
You didn't make no money.
So it didn't really, at the end of the day, for selling purposes,
Right.
it didn't do you any good at all to add that square footage. It just caused you to do a lot of work, right? You would have got the same money per square foot in your pocket. Just go ahead and sell it at the 1,000.
And honestly, by moving from 100 to 150, you could have just got outside your range.
That's what I'm saying.
And
saying.
then, so
again,
now you've
too high
spent
for the
money in the
neighborhood.
hopes of making money.
Yes.
And you might not be able to recoup that.
Right. So again, that could be a sign that it's time for you to go. You know what? Because I can't add. I need more space, and I can't add on.
Right.
I can't build on. I can't improve on to get what I need. That could be a sign that it's time to go on. That's number 3. Last one, number 4. What do you got?
Number 4 is if you're in a neighborhood and the neighbors are listing their houses and they're selling super duper fast.
Here's your sign.
There's a sign it might be a good time for you to try to
Could
sell
be.
yours, and you might be able to sell it and make a little money.
That's exactly right.
It could also be if at one time your neighborhood was a thriving neighborhood and people has now moved out.
Right.
And there's nothing coming back to the neighborhood. It might be a time now you need to move out because that neighborhood's on the decline.
That's exactly right. And the disclaimer here is each and every situation is different.
Totally
each person's financial situation, your living arrangements, your home is all separate. We are not giving you financial advice. We're not giving you legal advice. We're simply sitting here in front of a TV having a good time talking to you guys, giving us...
And we just showed you a monkey.
Yes, giving you our opinion. If you want financial and legal advice, consult the proper people to do that. We're just having a good time.
But if you are looking to
guys.
sell
Yes.
and your neighborhood is selling super fast, apparently that's in a really good...
That's
people's
right.
wanting there. If they're selling
They're
and
wanting to
people's
come in.
moving, people are wanting to come in. So it might be a time that might be a sign that your product that you have is... What
Yes.
word am I looking for? It's
just a hot commodity.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
what- it's what people
it's a
want.
wanted neighborhood,
It's
and
what
people are
people's
wanting
want.
to get there. But again, at the end of the day, you got to sit down, put your big boy, big girl britches on. You got to have the conversation, look at your own financial situation, look at your own living arrangements, and make a decision. Is this the right time for me to do or not to
And
do?
again, because
what
a
I
lot
need
of
to?
people is going to be able to look down and say, okay, I might be able to sell my house and make $10,000. And that ain't going to do nothing for me.
Right.
Some people might be able to say, if I sell my house and make $10,000, that's going to mean a world
That's
to
right.
me.
Put me somewhere.
So
yes.
everybody's individual
It's different.
financial situations is different. So you got to figure out what works for you. What do you need to make?
That's exactly.
And then,
right.
so if you find out what you need to make, then talk to a realtor and see, is it possible I can make this and do the move up?
Absolutely.
We thank each and every one of you for listening to today's podcast. Tune in for future episodes by subscribing to our channel and get the latest and greatest real estate information right here on Lakeway Area Real Estate Talk Live, presented by Elite Realty Group. Until next time, have a great and blessed day.